Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Vladivostok. And this was not the original idea for a video today. I was actually going for the key secondary build video, which I'm still working on. But, something weird happens when I jump in something that I build for secondaries. Everybody turns and runs away. So I don't get a chance to use the secondaries a whole lot. But while I was waiting for the key to come back after a rough match, I jumped in my Vladdy and this happened. And honestly, with this map the way it is, I was like, man, this can't be the worst map for the Vladivostok. It actually isn't that bad of a map for the Vladivostok, and I'll explain why. Because the enemy is full of potatoes. Alright? But we'll go over that in a minute. As we push towards the right side, we've got a Miyoko here on our team, and we have a North Carolina behind us. Which means I get to be the one that takes all the hits, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that in the Vladivostok at all. But, sometimes it does come in handy to have a little bit of support. And, unfortunately, for some reason or another, that does not really occur. Miyoko at least gives a shot, and I give credit where credit is due. I understand you're in a Miyoko, okay? North Carolina? You and I gonna have to talk. Hey, if you're that scared, you see what I mean in a minute. Let's just get this party going. Now, obviously, one of the things that I get called out on a lot is like, oh, Spartan, you're broadside and nobody shoots at you. They'd shoot at me, but I'm not stupid enough to stay broadside. I angle away. Right? I don't just sit there broadside. When I fire at people, I expect them to fire back. So I angle, right? And that makes a lot of people miss. And if they don't miss, they usually hit your armor belt and they don't do any damage. But some people seem to forget that little tidbit. And there we shoot at the Alabama. And this brings up a little problem with the Vladivostok. It's hold on, thought. Sorry, I had to yawn. Every time I record, it doesn't matter what time of day, every single time. Anyway, one of the problems with Vladivostok is it is not a sniper, okay? Do not get it twisted. Outside of 12 kilometers, this thing is iffy at best. But it can absolutely send some railguns downrange, to the likes of which the Stalingrad would like to, clap for it. But yeah, anyway. We are going to start our push in. Obviously, we don't want the Miyoko being the main thing that everybody shoots at here. Miyoko is in a kiting position, which is where a Miyoko should be. Although it's a bit too far forward for its own good when there's a Kansas, an Alabama, a Mines, and a Gascon out there that could absolutely at any moment send you to the Shadow Realm. And you can see he is taking quite a bit of fire here. So I'm going to try to make sure that doesn't happen. And we absolutely smashed that Kansas over there. Just crushing the man. Over 20,000 damage. Which is huge. Especially for this thing at range. But if you forget what the gimmick is of my... Oh, hello there. You have a Miyoko too. Well, it would be rude of me not to return the favor. You guys are shooting at my Miyoko. I'm going to shoot at yours. Hope you don't mind. Boop. That Miyoko is lucky to be alive. If I had better dispersion, I think that guy's dead. But I digress. We slapped it. Now, one of the things that you got to worry about in the Vladivostok is giving your broadside to anything. Cruisers are capable of citadeling you at medium range. Battleships at even long range can citadel this thing. You got to be real careful who you show your broadside to. Now, you can flash your broadside and then get angled. The Vladivostok does a pretty good job of this. But again, you got to be careful. You just can't be all willy-nilly showing your broadside to everybody. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Spartan, there's a Kansas over there, and you just showed your broadside to him to shoot at that Alabama. And you're right. But again, one of my main jobs here is to take damage, right? Like, I want people to, oh my god, there's the kangaroo. I knew you were here, you little turd. Come and get it! Now you can see that I point on him to have people shoot at him. And Miyoko, to his credit, is going to shoot at him. Just not very well. We're going to take a shot at the Kagro. And we take half that man's hit points immediately. 5 rounds downrange. Now, if you remember, the Vladivostok and the Russian battleships, when they're inside 12 kilometers, they get extra, like, shell dispersion, which is good. It makes you're more accurate when you need it the most, which is something a lot of battleships don't get. You know, one of the most famous examples of this for me was the West Virginia, man. The West Virginia is one of the worst battleships at getting rid of destroyers up close and personal that you'll ever meet. But here we got him again begging for it. And that's the one that the shells are like, yeah, can't be bothered, sorry. But the Miyoko does come in and does finish him off, which is huge. Again, shout out where shout out is due. Miyoko doing things. This motherfucker in the North Carolina, I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about it. I understand you're in a tier 6 battleship, but if you don't understand how you need to use that ship, like you gotta try harder. But Kansas is over angled. We're gonna go ahead and give him a piece of our mind, and then we got to be careful here because we are sailing kind of into a crossfire, and that's when the Miyoko comes back out. Now you want to keep an eye out in the middle of the map on the mini map if you get a chance, because you will see that the other cruiser, the Mines that was here earlier, he's going to pop up in a random spot, and it's a little scary, I ain't gonna lie. But Miyoko, I mean, brother, what are you doing? You just can't do this, man. And speaking of Mines, there he is. But we get another shot out. He gets away with it. I mean, we shatter 2 shells on a Miyoko, and we get 3 pins, or 3 overpins. So, not the best shot in the world. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to push up. Now, I know that Mines is to my left. I know he has a lot of torpedoes. High DPM. If he switches to AP at this range, he has a good chance to Citadel me at this range. So, I don't want to play around with him. Now, here we get a shot over the island. Dude's begging for it, and we slam him. But this Kansas has a tingling sensation on the back of my neck going off. And the reason that happens is because, well, I just assume he's about to ram me. Anytime you see a Kansas YOLOing like this at your Vladivostok, or really any ship, it doesn't have to be the Kansas, but any ship YOLOing your Vladivostok like this, for some reason they just love to ram you. So you'll notice I don't even shoot him. I know I'm probably getting rammed here. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot the Miyoko. Now this decision may have just backfired. The reason I shot the Miyoko is because if the Kansas rams me, 9 times out of 10, we both die anyway. But unfortunately, the game made me slide to the left a little bit, and that makes me hit the island, which allows this Kansas to catch up to me, which is just sadness. But even then, I still survive initially, but didn't matter, because he didn't die right away either. Usually in that situation, if you survive the initial impact, the other guy dies, and then you're able to potentially live. But in that situation, we both had enough hit points that even though I was reversing, I managed to survive the initial impact, and then unfortunately we both just immediately died in the second impact. But it's all due to that stupid island. When I went around that island, I didn't hit the island. So what happened is, when I went around the island and stopped, my ship kind of drifts towards the island. The island is like magnetic in this game, and they just are. You ever see your ship next to an island, you'll notice that your ship will literally strafe horizontally to get closer to an island for some reason. I hate how it happens. I don't know why it happens, but it does. And I knew that. But that's what happened in that instance. My ship kind of like drifted to the left, and that way when I reversed, I got caught on the island, which is real unfortunate when you're being run down about to be rammed. Because I'm pretty confident that, you know, being a Kansas coming after me, there was a shot that I could potentially go fast enough in reverse that I could really, really mitigate the damage. But in the end, it didn't really matter. We end up with 148,000 damage. A solid game showcasing the strengths of the Vladivostok. I mean, if somebody's going out of their way to ram you to get you out of the match, like, you're doing your job right as a battleship. However, if you're sitting in the back of the map hiding behind an island the entire goddamn game, maybe he shot the Mines. You know, the Mines did lose a lot of health. I don't know if it was him or if it was the cruisers in the middle shooting him. Obviously, he gets the shots there, but if you're sitting behind an island the entire game in a battleship, and then you come around the corner and the very first thing you do is eat a wall of skill, like, you should probably rethink your strategy, is all I'm saying. But here we have an Amagi versus a Brandenburg, and this Amagi initially does the right thing here by staying skinny towards Brandenburg, but Brandenburg isn't inside his torpedo range yet, right? We know that the Brandenburg, as most Germans, have 6-kilometer torpedoes. So what this Amagi should have been doing is immediately turning to kite as soon as possible. Reason being, Brandenburg has 305mm guns. He's not likely to kill you with one shot. He might slap you if you go broadside to him, but it's unlikely. But by turning and kiting early, you get all of your firepower to bear instead of just shooting with two guns, which is four shells downrange. With Japanese dispersion. Now, to be fair, he's gotten really good groupings up to this point and has done quite a bit of damage to him. But here's the widespread torpedo, and unfortunately, that is just tragic. And then, of course, you know, broadside to broadside doesn't quite finish him off. He probably should have held that one shot for the Brandenburg's broadside, but he didn't. But unfortunately, he does take a couple of torpedoes here again, and between the Brandenburg's main guns manages to go down. Now, what happens next is exactly what you'd expect. The Bismarck, my team, we have the points lead. There's no reason to go after that guy. Wichita, on the other hand, all he has to do is go straight over there. He bow tanks the guy and just murders him with DPM. You don't have to do anything crazy. And you'll see that I do mention it to Wichita in the moment. Like, one of the things that gets people in trouble in the American cruisers that have a 27mm bow, like the Wichita, the Des Moines, the Baltimore, when you have a 27mm bow and you're up against something that does not overmatch you, stop trying to use your rear gun. Why? Why do I say that? Because most of the time, when you're going to get slapped, it's because you try to get that rear turret online. It doesn't have the best firing angle in the world, so you have to open that angle up way more than you should in order to get that rear gun. And what do you actually gain from it? Not a whole heck of a lot, because especially in something like the Wichita with a normal build's probably reloading every 8 seconds, right? Maybe 8.5. So if you're reloading every 8 seconds, the time it takes you to flip around to get the rear turret off, you've already reloaded the front guns, right? That's just the way it is. And so, like, staying bow in, you could easily close that distance, not have to worry about taking really any damage, like, not meaningful, but and then you would be able to finish the other guy off. But yeah, either way, the game ends on points, unfortunately. We end up top of the leaderboard. Shocker. We did our job. We helped kill the only destroyer in the lobby. We captured base. We did everything we could, right? So let me know down in the comments below if you guys are enjoying. If you like what I'm doing, punch a like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video. At 1 p.m. tonight, or today, Senna and I are going to be playing a game called Peak. He's going to be on his channel. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the comments below. If you guys are, checking that out or want to check that stream out, highly recommend it. It's pretty funny. So, if you want to see me play a potential rage game with friends, please drop by. And I'll see you guys in the next one.